It's not exactly breaking news to say that there is a rape epidemic happening in Britain at the moment. I mean, there's Morgoth's post from today, and it's just today's news. Well, what is it? 2 Afghan men convicted of knife-point rape on first date in London Park. 2 Afghan migrants charged with raping 14-year-old girl in train. Court interpreter reveals migrants' rape beliefs in UK courts. We'll get to that in a minute, in fact. But the point is, there's clearly a problem with men from cultures that don't have the same attitudes towards women that ours do. And just to be clear, this isn't even a feminist point, right? This is a point of decency, of propriety, of what we think we should be doing in our personal behavior as men. And obviously, these people just don't agree with our standards, how we think that our country should be, so that our wives and sisters and daughters and our mothers can be safe in our own country. Right? They have very different standards in their countries, and we have different standards in ours. Our standards actually place onus on the man not to be a predator, which is unusual, I suppose. Anyway, so the government has decided they're going to hand out this Understanding Behaviours and Expectations in the UK, a guide for asylum seekers. Now, on the one hand, that's actually not insensible, right? You've brought a bunch of fighting age young men from the third world into Britain, and for some reason you're releasing them into our communities. Would be a little bit irresponsible if you didn't tell them, actually, we don't quite do things the way you do things. But on the other hand, why are you releasing these fucking rapists into our communities? What are you doing? And I'm laughing because it's ridiculous. But just to be clear, right? Every headline is a horror story. It's someone's life ruined, assuming they're not murdered, by the way, but it's someone's life completely destroyed by people who didn't have to be here. It was optional. They had their life destroyed through government policy. And everyone was like, my God, this is kind of crazy. It's like living in the UK. Well, you're in the UK seeking asylum. It can be very different. In the UK, there are laws that protect everyone's safety, dignity, and rights. It's important you understand them because it can have serious consequences on your asylum application, right? Anyway, gender equality. In the UK, men and women have equal rights. It's an important part of UK culture. They can work and earn their own money, go to school, university, travel freely, choose who they marry. What? Hang on. I can't help but feel if you have to explain all of this to what I can only assume are literal cavemen that you have defrosted from ice, maybe we shouldn't allow them in the country. Right? Maybe actually they're not as entitled as they're making out to be to come to our country. What is expected of you? Well, you can't do the things you do to women in Afghanistan. Okay, understood. Obviously, don't domestically abuse people. Now, it might be sanctioned by your religion. It might be completely normal in your culture, but actually don't physically or verbally abuse and control them. They've got to make their own choices, obviously. Sex and consent. This is a remarkable one. This is the one where a lot of them are like, I don't really understand what you're saying. You're expected to always make sure the other person freely and clearly agrees to sex or sexual contact. Never use threat, force, or pressure to make someone have sex. Never try to have sex with someone who is asleep, drunk, or unable to consent clearly. Stop if they say no or change their mind. And of course, never have sex with anyone under the age of 16. No exceptions to this rule. And you can tell, they're like, what a weird place I've come to. And obviously, don't harass people in the street. So, right. You can say anything you like that is progressive about migration, refugees, the poor asylum seekers. Oh, we're just here to save the asylum seekers. But if you have to put out a pamphlet like this, there's clearly a persistent problem with this group. And you are clearly being forced through your revealed preference here to take some kind of action to mitigate the astronomical number of rapes that's going on in this country. And I'm just gonna throw a wild pitch out here. It's not that British men have decided that actually they're going to rape at a much higher rate. I mean, it's 10 times what it was 20 years ago. It was 8,000 in the early 2000s. It's 80,000 a year now. What's changed? Why do you need to put this out to asylum seekers? Just I mean, everything's revealed, right? Everything's revealed. All of the fictions come crashing down. Where it's like, look, we've got to do something about this rape epidemic, this rape jihad that is happening in our country. Well, I guess we'll put out pamphlets then to explain to the asylum seekers not to do this. So you can't do that. You'll say that asylum seekers have a much higher predisposition or propensity to commit rape. And it's like, well, I mean, the numbers are in. Like, we do actually know the numbers. We know that Afghans, for example, are 22 times more likely to rape someone than just a white British man. Just we've got the numbers. And that's at the very top end. You know, it's like 20 times for like Sudanese and Eritreans and whatnot. You know, there's a bit of a curve. But it's still way higher than the average British man. Anyway, Andy Burnham had to come out and defend this. Because it's like, well, from the left, he had to defend this. Because, of course, like, what are his options here? Like, what's he supposed to do? But like, no, hang on. Like, we have a real problem here. And I have to do something about it. If I can get rid of this, which would be nice. I'm currently working to ensure that foreign national offenders who can be removed from the prison system are removed. And if this is the approach we're taking, blah, blah, blah. It's like, well, yeah, to be honest. But look at this. School Standards Minister Georgia Gould, okay, so an awful, said that the starting point of asylum seekers come to this country is an understanding of the laws of the country, but warned against making full generalizations. Yeah, too bad. You've made the generalization. This is the generalization. Oh, you're an asylum seeker. Don't rape anyone while you're here. Don't try and have sex with a child. Don't harass people in the street. Like, there are foreign countries that have just dramatically different standards in this regard to us. And that's what they're all admitting. And what I love about this is that there's just no containing this issue anymore. We have been beating this drum for decades now, for more than a decade now. We've been like, look, guys, I can't help but think that these very different, mostly Islamic cultures have got a really different attitude not just towards women, but towards the way we expect men to behave. Because this is the thing about Islam, is it doesn't circumscribe the boundaries of men's behavior. It circumscribes the boundaries of everyone else's behavior, women and children, so that men aren't tempted by it. And you see it all the time in the meme they'll post. It's like, look, here's a lollipop that's fallen on the floor, and look, all the ants are all over it. But if the lollipop is wearing its burqa, the wrapper, the ants aren't all over it, therefore you should wear a burqa. It's like, right, because you are just fucking insects, is what you're saying. You are not able to control yourselves. You have no actual self-control and no dignity. This is what you're saying. And what you're saying is, if women are normal, then actually they deserve it. They're asking for it. And that's assuming they even understand that predating on women who they don't know is even bad. And this is what Tom Swarbrick, and again, this part of my long-running The Red Pilling of Tom Swarbrick series, because you remember, we did him going to Birmingham. There was a couple of other ones as well, where he saw, the rubbish, and it was just foreigners around. And he was just like, oh my God, none of these people speak English, and none of them want to speak to me, and none of them seem to understand why this is bad. There were a couple of other things as well, but this is the latest in the Red Pilling of Tom Swarbrick series. Listen to this.
Their understanding is, as long as it is not under 16, they think that it's okay. And if the girl is, for example, coming out of a club, quite drunk, asking for a lighter, to them it's okay. She's giving the green light. So, but I interrupted for a guy.
And you've had that happen. Sorry, you've had that happen.
I love this. Like, oh God, how can I maintain any kind of liberal priors when the country is just full of sex predators? How can I pretend to be a moderate when this is going on? Tom, great question, buddy. Great question. Big fan of your show.
But I interrupted for a guy.
And you've had that happen. Sorry, you've had that happen.
Yes,
non-stop.
Yes, definitely, 100%. I interrupted for a person, his asylum interview. He said he was gay, but a few months later, I was called to a police station. Basically, he was waiting outside a club. I won't name it, but first he assaulted a girl. I assume they were over 17 because they were coming out of a club, so they had to be old enough. But universities didn't. But that girl managed to get away. And this guy disappeared. A couple of hours came back again, and then started following this quite vulnerable girl because she was high and drunk. And followed her while she was walking home, and in a car park, he raped her. No protection, no nothing. And that girl was destroyed. He didn't show any remorse at all, not even in the court. Like, he kept saying, it's not like I killed someone.
And there are literally hundreds of thousands of these men who broke into our country, who are just wandering around now. And you see it as well. Like, I saw, Bev Turner posted on Twitter, the GB News host posted on Twitter, that she's been to clubs, and you see, like, just foreign men watching around the edge of the dance floor. They're not dancing, they're not even drinking a lot of the time. They're not engaging in anything. They're just waiting to see when a particularly drunk girl or a couple of girls decide they're going to stagger home. It's like, right, our country is full of predators, right? And now the government, Lucy Powell here, in fact, Tom Swarbrick on Good Morning Britain on ITV was like, okay, you've got to understand, it doesn't look good when you're like, yes, refugees welcome. We're going to bring as many of them over as we can because we're here to help. And also, here are the don't rape pamphlets. Tom Swarbrick's like, well, come on. You gotta throw me a bone here. And as Basil points out, this was a car crash. I'm not going to play it because they'll copyright strike me. This is an absolute car crash and interview because she was like, I don't know why they're being handed out. I can't explain it, but we're doing a good job because the asylum applications are being processed quicker. It's like, yeah, but I don't want you allowing these men to stay in my country. Like, I have a wife and 2 daughters. I don't want these men in my country. Do you understand? I want them gone. All of them. With no questions asked, no uncertain terms. Just physically ejected from the country. And I'm not going to say any more. Anyway, obviously Motormouth came out and was just like, wow, actually, the problem is all men. Actually, it's white migrants, the Polish. Actually, I didn't even look at the brochure we're handing out. Fuck. It's not all men, Jess, actually. It's not. We know. The numbers, I mean, I should have just got the numbers up for this video, but we featured them elsewhere, so I didn't think to do it. But actually, when you break it down into who is most likely and who the majority of actual rapes are, it's per capita. Sorry, the dreaded per capita word. Actually, there are men from certain kinds of cultures that are far more likely, who are just outright predatory and are shameless about it and don't understand that they're doing something wrong. But of course, Jess Phillips, the liberal, socialist, Labour, or former Labour minister that she is, no. It's got to be white men. I've got to attack white men with this. It's like, no, Jess, this isn't white men. This is very clearly a case of we have allowed the absolute refuse of the third world to break into our country, and now we're giving them access to the vulnerable underbelly of the country, the places where we're supposed to just live freely and in harmony with each other. And they're going on a rape crusade, right? They think this is brilliant. I have all the opportunity in the world, and they can't believe. What do you mean? Don't do this. Don't do that. That's just not how they think. And until we stop them from doing any of these things, and I would suggest that would be through mass deportations of illegals, this will continue. But what won't continue, look at that segue, is Islander 6. It's going to be on sale probably until Friday. I don't know how long the stocks are going to last, but we're getting very much to the if you want your copy, get it now phase, because it's really not going to be around forever. And like I said, we are not reprinting these. So if you want to make sure that you do not miss out on this latest gorgeous, beautiful, and it really is beautiful as well. I just love the tone and tenor and the art and the articles, of course. In Islander 6, go and get it now. Because I know you're going to come to me afterwards and say, hi, can I get a copy of that? I'm going, no. There's a meme for this. I haven't got the meme to hand. Anyway, I'm going to be like, no. And that's it. You'll have to wait till Islander 7. Anyway, link in the description. I'll see you in the next video.